In The Road Less Traveled, the best-selling self-help book of all time, Dr. M. Scott Peck writes that when parents meet their children's needs in timely, judicious ways, the children internalize the emotional belief that they are lovable, that their needs are important, and that the world is like their family. No matter how well or poorly your parents did in responding to your needs as a child, it is your job now. You cannot get all of your needs met on your own, but you are responsible for surrounding yourself with people and resources that help you get your needs met in a predictable and consistent way. There's actually a very simple process for doing this that I've been teaching to men and women for several years. I call it Cooperative Reciprocal Relationships, or CRR. Here's how it works. You start with 3 large pieces of poster board or butcher paper and some colored pencils or markers. There are 3 parts or pages to this practice. On page 1, there we go, you begin by drawing a stick figure of yourself in the middle of the paper. You could even paste a photo of you. Draw a little bucket inside the stick figure. We can liken to getting your needs met to filling your bucket. Then draw several circles that all represent all of the cooperative reciprocal relationships you currently have in your life. I tend to divide these CRRs into 4 categories. 1, people. This consists of friends, families, associates, etc. 2, professionals. This would be doctors, dentists, massage therapists, personal trainers. 3, packs, groups like your church, softball team, book club, 12-step group, or your Think and Grow Rich mastermind group. 4, practices, things that you do on a daily basis to nurture and care for yourself. Yoga, exercise, walking, prayer, service to others, meditation, listening to music, spending time in nature. On the example page, I draw double-sided arrows pointing both directions between the person in the middle, that's you, and each circle on the page. You don't need to do this, but I just want you to think that each circle represents a cooperative relationship because everyone involved wants to be there, and each circle represents a reciprocal relationship because both you and the person or the resource or the professional in the circle are getting something of value from the connection. I suggest that you have an individual circle for every friend, every associate, every professional, every pack, every practice. I want you to get a visual of what you currently have in your life. So, for example, every friend you can think of gets their own circle on page 1. Even if you and I have never met, for example, we have a CRR. We both choose to be here and we both get something of value from the relationship that we have together. I'm teaching you something of value. You're paying me for that. Win-win. Spend a few days working on page 1. Use different colors for different types of relationships if that helps you. Mainly, I want you to see how many resources you have in your life to help you meet your needs. If, for example, you write a friend's name on page 1 and you haven't talked to him or her in a while, this is a good reminder to reach out and chat or spend some time with them. Let them fill your bucket as you fill theirs. One person asked me how many circles you should have on page 1. Without thinking, I blurted, "Shoot for 100. He got a look of shock on his face, but why not? Why not have 100 or more active CRRs in your life? In workshops, when I teach this, I have the participants share their page 1 with others to get ideas of people, professional packs, and practices that others have that they might currently have themselves, but have forgotten to put on their page 1. This sharing with others can also be helpful to see what CRRs you need but are currently missing in your life, which brings us to page 2 of the practice. Page 2 looks just like page 1, except its circles are people, professionals, packs, and practices you would like to add to your life. Maybe you realize you need a dentist, a personal trainer, a mentor, a mastermind group. Put these things in circles on page 2. Then start communicating these wants and needs. Here's an example. I was teaching this practice at a workshop several years ago, and I shared that I needed a new accountant, a financial advisor, a men's group, and more guy friends. As soon as I finished teaching the practice, a workshop participant told me about a men's program he was in. I joined and have been a member for 5 years. It's blessed my life. I went from having like 1.5 guy friends to well over 25 really good friends and more than 50 friends that I can reach out to at any time. At the next workshop where I taught this practice, a financial advisor introduced himself to me and said that I'd changed his life and he wanted to help change mine. He's been investing my money for 4 years now. I also found a new accountant who I love. Keep updating page 2 regularly. Okay? Page 3 of the CRR practice looks like pages 1 and 2, except that it is the relationships you currently have that either are not very cooperative or not very reciprocal. This might be a drinking buddy from college that you no longer share anything in common with. Might be a business relationship that's lost its value for you. It might be a family member who keeps violating your boundaries. Page 3 are the relationships you need to have a discussion about, renegotiate, or cut off completely to make room for new, healthier relationship. That's it. I suggest you do this practice at least twice a year. This is a great way to break out of old codependent style relationships and replace them with conscious bucket filling relationships. This is how you create your good family and build your all-star team. It's honestly not that hard, and the ROI is through the roof. Since I started doing this practice regularly, my life has expanded in every way imaginable. Here is a very recent example of how one of my CRRs paid off. 3 or 4 years ago, I started an exercise accountability group with half a dozen buddies. The idea was to check in daily with each other via text with how we did each day with our exercise and eating commitments. The group has had some ebbs and flows with a few guys coming and going. For the last few months, only a couple of the guys were checking in on a regular basis. During this time, I had gotten pretty sedentary and was rarely exercising or checking into my own CRR. Then about 2 weeks ago, one of my buddies in the group made a simple post that read like this: Robert, you haven't been chiming in much lately. I hope you have not resigned yourself to eating burritos and drinking beer while lazing in the hammock. That moved me. I felt loved and supported. I responded to my buddy and thanked him. Something about that expression of love got me motivated. I've been kicking ass daily with my exercise since then and have been eating great. This is how CRRs pay off in all areas of life. Okay, that's it. Get out your sheets of paper and your markers and get busy.